most powerful thing that you can do to improve your writing? Use images. And when I say images, I mean painting pictures with your words. I'm going to show you how to do that in this lesson. First of all, I'm going to read you 2 stories and I want you to tell me which one you like best. Story number 1. Yesterday, I had a great day. My best friend visited me and I haven't seen her in ages. We went down to the beach and we had lunch. I always enjoy spending time with her. She is really funny and she's also a good listener. I got sad when she left. I didn't realize how much I miss her. I cannot wait to catch up with her again. The end. Story number 2. Yesterday, I smiled so much that my face was sore. When Jess's silver Forester pulled into the driveway, I leapt up from the couch so fast I almost spilled my cup of tea. I ran barefoot across the sharp stones just so I could squeeze her half to death in my fluffy pink dressing gown. Lunch was hot chips on the beach. I'm not sure who was louder, the gang of seagulls tackle diving each other for a stray chip, or us belly laughing at the portraits we made of each other in the sand, complete with seaweed hair and coconut bras. We talked until the sky changed from blue to pastel pink, without even noticing the time. I didn't realise how much I'd been holding on to until it all started to tumble out of me. It was bittersweet to watch her car drive out the gate. I waved, poked my tongue out and made a face. She honked twice and I tried to keep her in my sight for as long as possible, savouring the final moments with her like the last lines of a favourite book. So, which one did you like better? Both stories were about pretty much exactly the same thing. Only story 1 told you what happened, whereas story 2 showed you what happened with images. It painted pictures with words, which enabled you as a listener to experience the day with me rather than just taking my word for it. This is where the phrase show, don't tell comes from. You want to show your audience rather than tell them. When I say images, I don't just mean visual images. Stories become much more powerful when our listener or our reader can experience them with all the senses. So when I say images, I'm referring to what's called sensory images. And these are descriptions of all the senses. So descriptions of what we can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's go back through the story and we'll talk about all the sensory images that we can find. Yesterday, I smiled so much that my face was sore. So already we're seeing a big smiling face and we're feeling that touch. We know what it's like when we smile so much that our cheeks start to get stiff and sore. So that is already a visual image and a touch image or a feeling. When Jess's silver Forester pulled into the driveway, that's a visual image. We can see the silver car. I leapt up from the couch so fast that I almost spilt my cup of tea. All right, so that's another great bunch of visual images there. I ran barefoot across the sharp stones. So again, we're feeling that sense of touch. We're feeling those sharp stones in our bare feet. Just so I could squeeze her half to death in my fluffy pink dressing gown. That's a beautiful visual image of a best friend hug. And we can also really feel that. We know what that's like. We've got the word fluffy there, which also helps sort of give you a bit of a sensory image there. Lunch was hot chips on the beach. We know what hot chips look like, smell like, taste like. I can taste that when I think about hot chips. I didn't just say, in the first story, we've just said we had lunch on the beach. In the second story, we're saying hot chips. So that's getting, it's all about getting specific with those details, all right? So that's a taste. I'm not sure who was louder, the gang of seagulls tackle diving each other for a stray chip, or us belly laughing at the portraits we made of each other in the sand, complete with seaweed hair and coconut bras. So a whole stack of visual imagery there, and also a auditory image. We're hearing the seagulls when they're dive bombing each other for the chips, and we're hearing us that belly laughter of the 2 girls in the story. Hey there, it is Elise here, just briefly interrupting your lesson today to tell you about my brand new online songwriting course, The Song Prescription. The lesson you are currently doing right now is from that course. So if you're enjoying it, you will find over 40 more lessons just like it inside that course. These lessons will take you through the songwriting process step by step, and I will be there at your side every step of the way. And for a very limited time, I'm actually offering students of this course direct access to me as their personal songwriting coach. So if you've got specific questions that are holding you back in your songwriting, you'll be able to ask me directly. Sound good? If you'd like to know more, just click the link in the description. Now let's get back to your lesson. We talked until the sky changed from blue to pastel pink without even noticing the time. So you're getting a beautiful visual image of the sky changing color, which is another way of showing that time has passed without telling. So we're showing, not telling. We didn't just say time went fast, or we stayed there from noon till evening. We've used imagery, visual imagery of the sky changing color to illustrate that for our listener. I didn't realize how much I'd been holding on to until it all started to tumble out of me. So that's a much more descriptive way of explaining I didn't realize how much I missed her, because you know what it's like when you're with your best friend and you're just like blah, 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 and all this stuff comes out and you're like, wow, apparently I'd been holding on to that. So it's a nice little description there. And the last paragraph is, it was bittersweet to watch her car drive out the gate, another visual image. I waved, poked my tongue out and made a face, which is again illustrating that friendship. We're showing that friendship of silliness between these two friends. She honked twice, so that's a auditory image, and I tried to keep her in my sight for as long as possible, savouring the final moments with her like the last lines of a favourite book. So we're finishing that with a really nice simile there, comparing the watching her leave with savouring the last lines of a favourite book. So does this make sense? Do you see how using all these sensory images, this writing has come to life, the stories come to life. Whereas the first story just told us what happened. They're both about exactly the same thing, but the first story told us what happened and the second story showed us. It allowed us to experience that story along with the narrator. I'd just like to point out that songs aren't quite as reliant on imagery as something like literature or prose. That's because they've got a lot of other elements like melody and rhythm and all the different timbres of the instruments, all of these other things that are helping to communicate the meaning of the song along with the lyrics. But that's not to say that including some beautiful imagery in your songs won't help communicate that meaning and bring your song to life. I've got a little research activity that I want you to do. So I want you to look up the lyrics to say 3 of your favorite songs, maybe songs that you enjoy because of their lyrics. Look those up and print them off and highlight or underline all the sensory images that you can find in those lyrics. So images using all the senses. That's any time when you're reading those lyrics, you can see something in your mind or you can feel it or experience it. Show, don't tell. Okay? After you've done that, I want you to get in your book of compost, write a few paragraphs in as much detail as possible about something you did on the weekend. And it can be something really mundane, like maybe you just ate chips and watched Netflix. But describe it in as much detail as possible using all your senses. And I challenge you to try and use all 5. That means smell and taste, those difficult ones as well. See how you go, and I'll catch you in the next lesson.